Turbo and 2K show.
What is up, 2K crew? Yes, it is that time of the week again. 2Ks, we got a live show today. We're going to be talking a little bit of baseball, a lot of college football, actually a little bit more baseball than kind of what I'm leading on to. But yeah, we've got a packed show. It's been a minute. We took last week and we both enjoyed the golfing, even though for the Fairway Frolic Challenge here in town, even though it was 9 billion degrees outside.
It was a hot one.
Yeah, even though waking up it said, oh, yeah, a high of 83. High of 83, my ass. High of 123. Wow. Yeah, fat guys sweat a lot in that. But yeah, hopefully the 2K crew had a fantastic Saturday or Sunday, excuse me. But yeah, 2Ks got a lot of news to get to. We're going to be talking baseball realignment and not only realignment but expansion, which I've got a couple really cool. I'm not gonna say cool takes, but a couple takes on that, and kind of want to get your opinion on it too, because it is kind of a highly. It's not even highly attested. I mean, this is just like, oh yeah, cool, oh yeah, cool, but hold the phone. And then we had the Big Ten come out and say, hey, college football playoff, let's expand it to 28 teams. Okay, no. Let's take a look at some other realistic situations and see if it really does need to change, because we've had the 12-team playoff for 1 year. Yes, the seeding, I think, was everyone's kind of bitch last year, which they fixed for this year. So we'll get into that, and we're going to break down what happened yesterday and how big of a dick tease it was to have that much football on Saturday and none on Sunday. But yeah, this is the last Sunday until February, where we can't lose our entire bankroll on football.
Yeah.
So that's positive. That's positive. So 2Ks, let's jump into some news here. And before we get into the news, ladies and gentlemen who are watching live, I just want to say thank you for taking time out of your busy Sunday to kind of hear what two morons have to say about sports. But yeah, if you're over on Twitter, YouTube, our Facebook group, love each and every one of you. Go ahead and hit the subscribe, follow, whatever they have wherever you're at. And for those of you over on the audio side, whether you have us in your ears on the treadmill or in the car, you are the true OGs, and we want to thank each and every one of you. Well, 2Ks, we've got not a new home run leader for this season, but essentially a new home run leader. This is from Just Baseball over on Twitter. Cal Raleigh this season, most homers by a primary catcher in a single season. And if I'm not mistaken, 2Ks, he hit 48 and 49 today, which 48 tied him with Sal Perez. And then now, obviously, 49 is one more than 48. So he stands alone as the most home runs by a primary catcher. And this one's kind of cool too. Trails only Ken Griffey Jr. for Mariners single season home run record, and trails only Mickey Mantle for switch hitter single season home run record. It's not even September yet, 2Ks. It's not even September. A lot of these, when you talk about these names like Ken Griffey Jr., Mickey Mantle, I think a lot of us, especially with a guy with the nickname Big Dumper, has no business even in the same conversation. But he's right on their toes, right on their toes. So yes, 50 is definitely in play. And this kind of leads to the bigger conversation, 2Ks, which I touched on, I think 2 weeks ago. I was trying to make the argument that pretty much Shohei being the NL MVP is kind of just a given at this point. But I was trying to make a case for Kyle Schwarber. The internet destroyed me, saying I'm an idiot and don't know anything about baseball. But I did mention that with Judge going down, that kind of, I'm not going to say eliminated him from the MVP talk, but with Cal doing what he's doing and continuing what he's doing, I think that is kind of the case here, barring something very tragic, don't you think?
Yeah, no, I mean, I've been saying it since the All-Star break that I think that that he's in deserves to win it. And I don't think that you're that far off when you start talking about Schwarber.
Everyone says, "Well, dude, he pitches. He pitches."
He's not very good at it.
No,
He's not that great at it. Like
he got rocked by the Rockies.
Yeah. At some degree, does that affect like his MVP numbers? Because his pitching numbers are not great. And now the news comes out where they're going to limit, they're going to put him on a pitch count. Like, I just think the whole thing's a fucking joke. Stop fucking with him at pitcher.
Yep. And they had a breakdown of his batting average and WAR games that he pitched compared to games that he didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, small sample size with the games that he's pitched, but when he's not pitching, is hitting almost a 300 clip, and when he's pitching, it's down near 200.
Yeah.
So it is a drag. It's not like 280 to 260. Which who gives a shit at that point? But you're taking away something that is the most valuable part of his game right now, and arguably that's what's won him MVPs, not pitching.
No.
So, but yeah, if you look on FanDuel, they've pretty much closed the door.
And I mean I get it. It's Shohei. He is the best hitter in baseball. But I just don't. I don't think that you can just laugh at Schwarber or completely destroy somebody for saying it, because the season that he's having, they have basically ran away from the Mets now. I mean, I think that's up to like a 7 or 8 game lead. This Dodgers team has fucking underperformed. They shouldn't even be in a race for that division with that fucking roster. And I'm tired of. You can, in my opinion, you can no longer use the argument of he pitches also. You can't use it because he's not that great at it. Like. He's just not, and now the news coming out where he's going to be on a pitch count, or that he's only going to throw so many innings for the rest of the season. Like, I don't give a fuck. He's not even. I don't even know if I can sit here and say that he's a top 5 pitcher in their fucking organization.
No, and oddly enough, if we're going down that Dodgers rabbit hole, I mean, if you for a season that I think a lot of us would have said that was Clayton Kershaw's kind of right off into the sunset year. Once he gets 3,000 strikeouts, it is what it is. He's been the second best pitcher on their team.
Absolutely.
And now Glasnow coming back has been better than kind of a lot of us thought. Snell has come back and looked very good, but the Dodgers would not be where there would be, or where they are, without an aging Clayton Kershaw that a lot of us at the beginning of the year, they're like, yeah, okay, yeah, just the novelty of it, trying to get the one more milestone before we hang it up, and now it leads to the discussion: does he have anything left for next year? I mean, next year might be his right off into the sunset here, because we're not seeing Clayton Kershaw in his prime. But if you compare his season right now to what Verlander has, night and day. Verlander is absolutely garbage. Yes, he did hit the 3,500 strikeout, and I believe he's now 8th on the all-time strikeout list, which you cannot deny that. But this season, he has 1 win, and his 1 win came like 3 weeks ago into August. He was over. And looking not even close, and now he's come out and said that I might entertain pitching in 26. Why the fuck would you? Aside from a huge a lot of money,
right? Yeah.
But
and the thing, and like kind of getting back to Schwarber though, he's got what, maybe 30 more RBIs than Ohtani has. And I get it, Ohtani's a leadoff batter, but Schwarber's batting 2. So. He's knocking in Trey Turner all the time. I mean, like, he's batting 2. He's not like he's in the middle of the lineup batting 3, 4. Where you have your top 2, 3 guys in the lineup getting on base for you. He's batting 2 in that. So, and Ohtani fucking batting in his spot there at leadoff, and having the guys that he has in the lineup with Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, and batting after that. I mean, that's all the protection that you need. And so, I mean, his hitting numbers are fucking off the charts, and if you put them together with everything that Ohtani can do offensively, he can change the game probably a lot more than Schwarber can. But this pitching argument, I'm so fucking over it. You can't talk about it anymore. And like you just said, if his offensive numbers are that much worse when he's pitching, what's the point? Because he's not giving you anything on the bump, as far as, like, it's not like he's going out there and winning you games as a pitcher. He's not doing it.
And I could be completely off base on this, but I think he's only had just a handful of starts that have went even 5 innings.
Yeah.
So, at what point do the Dodgers look at that and go, okay, yes, this is detrimental to his offensive production. We've used every single starter in our whole organization, top to bottom. What realistically to me, it sounds like, all right, yeah, maybe we bypass that and even go an opener, because that's basically what Ohtani's been doing anyway for the most part. And get someone that's been doing it. And now you and I have been huge proponents of Shohei, just put the glove away.
Yeah.
Steal me 45 to 50 bases a year, hit me 45 to 60 home runs a year.
Look at the amazing season that he had last year.
Yeah.
Arguably the best season by anybody in baseball ever.
Yeah.
Why do you think that happened? Because he didn't even fucking worry about pitching. No. Pitching was not even the concern.
No.
And he knew going into the season he was never going to pitch a game in that entire season.
And like you said, we were everyone's like, well, that's $700 million contract. I don't care. He's won an MVP. Mm-hmm. He's won a World Series.
Yep.
Essentially, and he still has 9 more years. Yep. It's going to pay for itself.
The way that they spend money and the way that they go after talent, they're going to win more World Series in his time there.
Yeah.
And here's the thing for you. He isn't going to be pitching in any of those World Series and making a big difference in that.
Nope, not at all. Not at all. Well, you know who is pitching in the big leagues 2Ks? This is again from Just Baseball. Zach Big Sugar Maxwell is making his MLB debut for the Reds. This was yesterday. He's 6'6", 275 pounds, and throws 100+ miles an hour. He might already have the best nickname in baseball. Dude looks like us.
Yeah.
Except he's 6'6".
Yeah.
You and I can't even sniff 6'6".
No.
But yeah, I'm immediately a Big Sugar fan. Can I get a jersey that says Big Sugar on the back of it? Sign me in. Sign me up. Sign me up. Well, 2K is a little, again, from talking baseball. The Rockies have officially been eliminated from playoff contention. Does that shock you?
No.
However, they are five. They're only 5 wins shy of last year's White Sox team. So I have a feeling that between now and the end of the season, they will accrue more wins than the 2024 Chicago White Sox, even though it didn't seem like it at the time. But still,
no, there was a time early in the year. I mean, what were we, a month and a half, 2 months into the season, where it was like, oh boy, they might not catch the White Sox from last year.
Well, are they going to end the season with just 10 or 11 wins? Like, it was bad.
Do they even have a starting pitcher in their rotation that has the ERA under like 5.5, 6?
Probably not.
I don't think so. Yeah, probably they not. Just. I mean, and I get it. The ball flies in Colorado, but. Oh. They got a pitching problem there because they do have some offensive talent there that's pretty decent.
Yeah, one of them's playing right now for the Yankees.
It just seems like every time you watch them play, it's hard to win ball games when you're giving up double-digit runs a night.
Yeah, that is tough. That is tough. 2K, some more positive news here. I know this is a dude that you and I have been pretty big fans of. This is from Underdog MLB. Shane Bieber, Blue Jays debut, 6 innings, 1 earned, 9 Ks, 2 hits, 0 walks. First major league start since April 2nd of 2024. This was one of those sneaky. It wasn't a sneaky acquisition by any means, because he was, as far as starting pitchers were concerned, he was about on everyone's radar. But it was like, okay, he had 1 start. Mm-hmm. And looked okay. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not like he came off the IL and was throwing no-nos. But when he went down in 2024, he was on pace. I mean, he was the front runner for the Cy Young. Mm-hmm. And huge pickup for the Jays. Huge. If he can continue this, as if the Jays aren't already pretty awesome right now. But yeah, I was. This was one of those guys. I was like, all right, Boston, let's. Mm-hmm. If you're gonna take a chance, I would much rather take a chance on a Shane Bieber than Dustin May. Mm-hmm. Even though Dustin May looked pretty darn good the last 2 starts, but here tonight, getting roughed up 4-0 by the Yankees, and their Red Sox are probably losing this because I took them on the money line, and. Lo and behold, Mr. Volpe is not playing. So that as much as I smile when he's doing not good. You got to feel for the kid.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's not from a lack of trying, but when you're labeled the next Jeter, those are big shoes to fill. And I don't think you're going to find a shortstop that's probably going to do that. Fielding wise, yes, because Jeter was not the greatest fielder. We've talked at great lengths about that, but just what he meant for the city of New York, work ethic, just that kind of the Kobe mentality, the Mamba mentality. Excuse me. Yeah, Volpe doesn't have that.
No.
Volpe doesn't have that. 2Ks, let's talk about your Tigers here for a little bit because they're making some news. This is from Joe M. The last time the Detroit Tigers won the AL Central was 2014. Tigers are up 11.5 games in the division with 5 weeks to go in the regular season. If you rewind 3 or 4 weeks ago, 2Ks,
it's like Cleveland was catching them. You know,
the Tigers were the worst team in baseball. Fire Eric Hinch. Just burn down Comerica because this fucking team is done. And
they went through it though. They looked like shit.
But they went through it at the right time.
Yeah, 100%.
The right time.
And it was kind of like going into the All-Star break. It was like, we need the break. And then they come off the All-Star break and they look terrible for, probably a good solid month. They just were not looking good. Pitching was not good. There's even a couple starts there where Scooble got, roughed up a little bit. Bullpen was looking like shit. And
nobody could hit.
Coming off the trade deadline, they didn't really do anything, that at the time everybody was just like, well, they didn't do shit. They got a relief pitcher in Kyle Finnegan that was, not having a great year with
nails.
He has been maybe the best trade deadline accusation of anybody in baseball.
100%.
I mean, he's been that good. He has been that good. Hasn't given up a run yet. Just has been phenomenal. And then, another guy that everybody had just pretty much had written him off, Charlie Morton. And
I did publicly, yeah.
If the postseason was to start tomorrow, Charlie Morton would probably be their number 2 guy after Scooble. I mean, I'm looking at Flaherty got rocked today again. He's been just so up and down. I mean, he'll have 2 or 3 really bad starts, and then all of a sudden he'll have a fucking start where he's just untouchable. And then he'll match it with 2 or 3 more starts, and so you just really can't put a whole lot of trust into him. Scooble's obviously your ace, but if the postseason started tomorrow, Charlie Morton would be my number 2 pitcher going in that second game. Obviously has the postseason success, has pitched in these big games, but
he just looks rejuvenated.
The guy's 41, 42 years old and still throwing 96, 97.
And everything moves.
You talk about
up 5-0.
You talk about Kershaw and Verlander and those pitchers that are north of 40. Those guys aren't throwing that hard anymore. And here we have Charlie Morton north of 40, and he's the one out of all of them that's still throwing, upper 90s. And once he figured out that curveball, and which he has since he came to Detroit, he looks good. So, I mean, maybe Scott Harris knew what the fuck he was doing at the trade deadline time, because they've kind of they figured out some things. The offenses looked a lot better. Riley Green's not striking out as much. Torkelson's looked pretty good. They've been pretty fun to watch. They got roughed up today, but still, taking on the homestand, getting a sweep over Houston, and taking 2 of the 3 from Kansas City, who Kansas City's very hot baseball team right now. Also, you got to be happy with that.
Trent Grisham just went deep for the second time this game, and fun fact, has exactly 3 hits off Dustin May, all of them being home runs. So yeah, the Sox down 5-0, bottom 5, and at this rate, it looks like they're going to lose 9-0 if you're just going by stats here. Well, 2Ks, it's funny you mentioned Riley Green. So I got a cool stat here for you. And just to update that last slide, that's at 11.5. After today, they're up 10.5. So for those of you that are just like, oh my God, Turbo, you're so fucking wrong. No. If you look at the tweets that I highlighted, it says how many days ago it was. So yeah, just do yourself a favor. Just baseball. The only outfielders with 30-plus home runs and 90-plus RBI this season, Aaron Judge and Riley Green. What a year it's been for the Tiger Star. And someone ran a stat that I can't remember what it was, but how long it's been since a Tigers player had 100 RBIs. and it was way longer than what I even thought it would have been. But if you look back the last handful of years, that power was not on this team.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was generating runs, which last year was kind of the first year where that actually was successful.
Mm-hmm.
But this year, we're seeing a lot of these young kids become stars, and kind of, you know, where a lot of fans thought they would be. Still got one more Tigers here. Kind of a Tigers thing here. This is a retweet from Dan Hasty, and this is the original tweet was Perfect Game Select Festival. 2023 third baseman Christopher Cabrera out of Florida. And Dan Hasty retweeted. It says, to answer your question, yes, his father is exactly who you think he is. Mm-hmm. Class of 2030. And if you watch the video, wow. Yeah.
Well, he's got a pretty damn good hitting coach.
Yeah. And, you know, rocking the 24.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, he swing looks very, very familiar. Mm-hmm. Very familiar. I got one Lions tweet here before we get into our skiing suck fest for the week. But this is from ML Football. Trending, Detroit Lions head coach Dan Campbell had asked the NFL if the team could have a live real lion on the team's sideline. Campbell recently told his team that he would love for them to run out with real lions leading the way out of the tunnel onto the field. With MCDC, that should not surprise you. Well, 2K crew, if you're not into Paul Skeens Suckfest, then you might as well just not watch for the next handful of minutes. But this is from Underdog MLB. Paul Skeens through 50 career starts, 294 innings pitched, 351 Ks, 2.02 ERA, 0.94 WHIP. Only Vita Blue, 2.01, has a lower ERA through 50 starts since 1920.
Yeah. It's amazing. I mean, you look at that, it's unreal. And the kid just never has a bad start. Like, it seems like even his bad starts, he figures it out and somehow gets 5-6 innings into it, and still gives his team a chance to win.
They don't win a lot of them.
No, they don't, because he doesn't get any run support. But the kid's incredible. I mean, obviously every single year you have top end pitchers being drafted, but he's the only pitcher I've ever seen that has been drafted, and from the day he walked onto a major league ball field was a top pitcher, maybe the best pitcher in baseball. From the very beginning, from the start. Like, it's unreal.
And this is another one from Baseball is Dead. Skeens could be the first starter ever to win the Cy Young Award with a losing record. Worst records for Cy Young Award winners: Eric Gagne, who's 2-3. He was a closer. Bruce Sutter was 6-6. King Felix was 13-12. DeGrom was 10-9, and I'm not sure who Mike Marshall is, but he was 15-12. When Baseball is Dead dropped this, Paul Skeens currently has a 7-9 record with a 2.16 ERA. We just said that lowered to 2.02 after today, and he is 8-9 now. Mm-hmm. So still there is a chance that Skeens might eclipse that 500 mark.
Yeah.
Might eclipse that 500 mark.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I looking at that list, I remember that DeGrom season too, where speaking of not getting any run support, and that wasn't even that bad of a team. Like, that was a pretty decent team. They just, for some reason, whatever it was, would not give that guy a run. Like, that was an insane season though too.
Yeah, and you might have been a little too young to remember the King Felix one, but that was pretty much the same.
Mm-hmm.
Same kind of story. Now, Eric Gagne was a whole different animal. When you talk about closers, this dude would, just remember him on the mound, looked like he was 6'9", probably 285, just stacked, glasses, throwing gas. And I want to say that had to be the year that he broke the single season saves record.
Oh, sure. Yeah, absolutely. Because his career was very short lived.
Yes.
Dominated, and then was just completely disappeared.
Yes. Well, 2Ks, let's talk about that. I think that's all the news that I had. Yeah, it's all the news. I do have some other news, but I want to hang on to it here. So let's talk about MLB realignment. And this came out here recently because baseball not only wants to realign, but wants to add 2 expansion teams. One of which is, I guess it's kind of like a no brainer that they're heading to Nashville, and it's still up in the air as to whether it's like Salt Lake City or somewhere else. Definitely, which is kind of sad because I'm one of the old guys here. I think it'd be cool to have a team back in Montreal, but I guess that's already been kind of poo-pooed. And even though the Montreal Expos still have a Twitter account, which is a very comical follow if you don't follow them already. But let's and now once this news came out, MLB kind of put together their possible realignment, and if you're if you're on any social media, every expert has, all right, well, this is what mine will look like. This is what mine will look like. Well, hold the fuck on. Is this something that we need?
Yeah, right.
Is this something that we need? So I'm going to give you my answer, and whether baseball needs 2 more teams, and because once this, if this happens, and all the proposed things here, pretty much the American League, National League as we know it, done. All the divisions, done. A lot of the rivalries, done. So it's essentially kind of throwing everything up in the air for the last 100+ years and being like, fuck it. Granted, things have changed since obviously its inception. Its inception, but my big argument to this is we already have teams in the major leagues right now that are terrible.
Terrible.
The Pirates, with the biggest star in baseball. The Rockies that we talked about are already eliminated. The White Sox. There's a handful of teams that are the Marlins. Even though the Marlins have been productive, they've won 2 World Series in their short little amount of time. The Rockies have not. Let's try and fix those teams first.
Yep.
Let's make the product right now better. And let's
put a minimum cap on there.
Yes.
So that these teams can't just fucking not do anything to make their teams ever any better and not spend any money. And then you have 4 or 5 teams in all of baseball that are just fucking have no cap at all, and they're just willing to spend whatever. And then you have all these. I mean, it's basically you have like 5 or 6 teams that don't even try. I mean, they don't even try at all. And then there's a bunch of teams in the middle there that try, but really they don't try. That's where I would put like the Tigers in. It's probably where I would even put Boston. It's
right
not like
now,
Boston's just going out and spending money. They've developed from from draft and developing players. Where I'm talking about the 4 or 5 teams that just go out and do whatever the fuck they want. We have the Yankees, we have the Dodgers, Padres as of late, the Mets, the Phillies. Those are kind of
Mets
teams
especially,
Phillies probably they do a little bit more developing on their own. But yeah, to me, before you worry about realigning anything or bringing in 2 other teams, like there has to be a minimum cap. That has to be the biggest thing. Teams like the Marlins and the Athletics and the fucking Rays, they can't just continue to do what they've done for how many years now and never try to get any fucking better.
And especially talking about the A's, they've got a good thing going right now. I mean, you talk about drafting and developing and trading and getting good prospects. That is a now whole different conversation with ownership moving, how when they moved, why they're in Sacramento, but they're going to be possibly in Vegas, maybe, but we don't know. That whole situation aside, that right there, does it really affect the performance on the field? I don't think so as much. Yes, there's drama elsewhere, but when you look at the other teams that you just mentioned, it is a whole something needs to be fixed to where there's always going to be shitty teams, always. But when your payroll is some of like 2 players on like the 7th or 8th highest payroll teams, we can't have that. We can't have that. And so essentially what this, and I guarantee when the last time the realignment went, or the expansion went through, everyone had the same argument. And I would say that they were kind of right. The Rockies haven't done shit. The Marlins have won 2 World Series. The Diamondbacks made it to 1 and won 1. What's the other one I'm missing?
I have to get a team like a list of.
But to be kind of fair, this happened over 20 years ago. Probably over 30 years ago. So to have that, and now the NHL hit lightning in a bottle when they did it with Vegas. And Vegas has won a Stanley Cup in like the first 5 years of their existence. Hit lightning in a bottle. So now you're saying that, and we just saw this at the trade deadline, the lack of quality starting pitchers. Whether you can say that's from injuries, just there aren't a whole lot of them out there, and the ones that are out there aren't really that great. So now you're saying that, okay, we need to further dilute that so that that's somehow supposed to make a better product on the field. I don't get that. But let's take a peek at this possible realignment. And with this is from Baseball History Nut. He's saying that, man, seeing the Philadelphia Phillies in the AL is so weird. Been around since 1983, the oldest continuous one name, one city franchise in professional American sports. Now this is from Fox. This is their potential MLB realignment. They have it broken into the AL Northeast, the AL Mid-Atlantic, the AL Great Lakes, and the AL Southeast. Now, what they're trying to do here, 2Ks, is eliminate, or I shouldn't say eliminate, but condense travel. Okay? Because up until 2025, travel has just been, it just takes a toll out of everybody, and we finally had enough, 2Ks, where we got it. We have to put a stop to this. We have to. So what is MLB over at Fox say? The AL Northeast is going to consist of quite arguably the hardest division in any sports. The Yankees, Mets, Red Sox, Phillies. The AL Mid-Atlantic, the Orioles, the Nats, Pirates, and Cleveland. AL Great Lakes, Twins, Tigers, Brewers, Blue Jays. The AL Southeast, Braves, Marlins, Rays. What's that last one?
It's got to be one of the teams, the new teams.
Yeah. And then over on the NL side, the NL Midwest, the Cubs, White Sox, Cardinals, Reds, NL Central, Rockies, Royals, Rangers, Astros, NL Southwest, Dodgers, Padres, Angels, the Diamondbacks, NL Northwest, Seattle, A's, Giants, and the other expansion team. So yeah, you're right now in 2025, and if this goes into effect in 2026 2Ks, the rosters for any of these teams aren't going to look vastly different. So you're trying to tell me that the AL Northeast, holy shit.
Yeah.
Would it be fun to watch? Yeah. Be a lot of fun. Even as a Red Sox fan, that'd be a lot of fun. Even though in this graphic right here, the Red Sox are the worst out of the 4, hands down. But that's the Red Sox right now are 71-59. I guess you could say record wise, they're better than the Yankees. But yeah, that's to me having the Yankees and the Mets in the same division is pointless. The reason why they're one's in the American League, one's in the National League. Now, granted, this is going back many, many years ago, prior to interleague play, was with the hopes that they would play each other in the World Series.
Sure.
But even with interleague play Subway Series.
Mm-hmm.
And you could say the same well, I guess you could say the same thing in Chicago, even though those teams are at vastly different points right now. But it's one of those things where, yeah, it's kind of like good guys versus bad guys, whichever side you're on. And even the same thing with the now the NL Southwest is basically California plus Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
And why you wouldn't just slide the A's up there and just say the California division?
Sure.
I mean, if you really want to think about it that way. But to me, logistically, I guess, but I guess what I'm trying to break down to, Kay, is the current divisional setup so broken that we need to have a fix? And this is something that's
fan in me. I say no.
No,
I don't know the logistics of it all and all that, but it just seems like they're trying really, really hard to change a lot of things, and I've sat here in this seat and have said it and have disagreed with a lot of the changes they've wanted to make, and now on a lot of them, I say that I'm willing to say that I was wrong on it. Mm-hmm. So that's where I'm at with this, is where I don't want to just completely go over the top and say, oh no, this is bullshit. Why are we even doing this? And because maybe it would be a good thing in the future. And you can anybody can try to put these divisions together and create what they want to create, but nobody knows what the final answer is. Nobody even knows where these two, if they were to add two expansion teams, where they would even come from. They have an idea of where they would come from, but we don't actually know. So until those teams are created, it's really hard to even try to do anything with it. Sure. But I don't know. It just seems like baseball trying to stay relevant and just coming up with news and just shit to talk about. And it's like, I've heard, it seems like this has been on every MLB channel and podcast and everything all week long. And it's like, we're right in the middle of a pretty damn good baseball season right here, where there's really not a favorite out there. Yep. Like there, in my opinion, are 6-7 teams that can go and win this thing right now.
100%.
And all of them are still playing for their own division, so, there's only maybe 2 teams in all of baseball right now that can actually say that their division they have it on lock. Other than that, there's a lot of really, really good races going for wild card spots, for division spots, and I think it's adding up to be a really, really good postseason. So I would rather be hearing about shit like that than this bullshit of changing divisions and all that. And I guess where I think where I think baseball has went wrong here in recent years is, it used to be like somewhere around the middle of the season you had like 2 or 3 weeks where you played interleague.
Mm-hmm.
Now
it's all year.
It's all year. Like they just fucking throw the schedule out there and it's all year long, and you could be playing against a National League team. Tigers were playing against the Dodgers to start the season this year, so their first series of the year they're playing out in L.A. And playing against the last year's World Series champions and the Dodgers. So I would rather it go back to that time where you play against your divisional opponents more often, and then play against National League, or vice versa. National League plays against American League opponents, and maybe just add to it and maybe turn it into a 3-week or a whole month of where they play, if you want to get more games like that in. But other than that, I think that that there needs to be more emphasis on playing your divisional opponents more often.
Now, my question to you, and this might be the conspiracy theorist in me, do you think this is kind of brought up now with the lingering CBA?
Mm-hmm. Oh, 100%. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because they got things, both sides have things that they want out of this, and obviously, that the owners and that their big thing is they're pushing for to put a cap on this thing.
And the players don't
want that. Mm-hmm. And what normally happens when things like this happen is you start sneaking in a lot of other things.
Yeah.
So that way you can kind of cause distractions where you start looking at other things, and then kind of behind the scenes they're slipping and doing their business on it. So I think that's a really good point. I think that's probably why that you're going to see more things like this happen, because you only get these opportunities, I don't know however many years where these come up, and
I think it's every 5 years.
Every 5, yes. So they're going to push to try to get whatever they can. And maybe it doesn't happen this time, and maybe this is something that we're talking about 5 years from now, where it comes up again. But I think it's going to get. I think this one's going to get pretty nasty as far as with the cap. I think that's going to be the biggest story. Leading into this, because I would not be surprised if Major League Baseball doesn't see a strike here before, in really very, very recent.
100%, 100%. And I think yes, this is a talking point for assholes like me and you. But as far as when it gets implemented, this could never get implemented.
No.
I mean, it's just an idea that they floated out there. And kind of getting back to your point, the only rule I really don't like that they've brought in is the ghosty on second.
Yeah, no, I'm not a big fan of that.
Now, granted, during the playoffs, it's not like that, but during the regular season, is it stupid? Yeah, yeah. Is it causing someone or a team to miss the playoffs because of that? Probably not. But if you look at like the pitch clock, we don't even really look at that anymore.
If you want the fucking game to get over with quick, just do what they did as far as in the regular season. Now, I would not say do this in the postseason, but just do what they did in the All-Star game and do a fucking swing off. And, that'll make teams have to want to, go out and spend big money on home run hitters just for that reason alone. I mean, think about how many extra inning games your team's a part of in a season. You obviously want to have 2 or 3 guys that can step up and swing it like Schwarber.
2Ks, let's pivot to another talking point here: college football expansion. Now, the biggest talking point here is once it went to 12, it was rumored that, okay, 12 is just going to be a minor stepping point. We're going to be ultimately looking at 14 or 16. The Big Ten came out and said, no, we want 24 or 28. So essentially what they're suggesting is there's a certain number of allotted seats for the Big Ten, a certain amount for the SEC. Take out the conference title winners from each one of those, even though there won't be conference title games. They'll just be the winner of the conference, and everything else is kind of at large. So essentially, if it's 28 teams, let's say there's 8 from each. Are you trying to tell me that the 8th best Big Ten school deserves to be in the playoff? Absolutely not.
No.
Does the 8th best SEC team deserve to be in the playoffs? Absolutely not. When this whole playoff started, I think everyone can agree 4 was just not enough.
No, I mean, there was every single year you had a team or two that were just simply being left off because they lost their conference championship game, or they were basically being penalized for playing in a conference championship game.
Yep.
And so that was just a terrible situation. And I thought going to last year's 12 teams, like, okay, you can make an argument that, and they already have changed it as far as with, automatic.
The seeds were
the biggest complaint. Now, as far as, in my opinion, I think the 12 teams was perfect.
Me too.
Like that's the perfect alignment. You get the seedings right. I think that the first 2 rounds should be home games
that would be awesome
for the higher ranked team in that, so potentially like a team like Notre Dame could play 2 games in South Bend before you get to the semifinals. And then in the semifinals, now you can turn your Rose Bowl, your whatever. But I think that's the only thing I would really go at trying to change right now is allow the home team, or allow the higher rated seed to get potentially 2 home games in this playoff before. That's about the only thing I would push for on it. But I think if you're going to 16 or definitely getting into the 20s, like, you're going to start getting a really, really watered down playoff of. I mean, we saw it last year. There was, even in a 12-team playoff, there were teams in that had no business being on the field with a Notre Dame, or no business being on the field with a Penn State, or it wasn't even close. Like, Notre Dame absolutely destroyed Indiana. Indiana's coach did a good job of just not getting his ass beat down in that, and playing to just keep it within 10 or whatever it was. But Notre Dame from start to finish of that game dominated it. Penn State from start to finish against SMU dominated it. Like, so it was already somewhat watered down in that. To me, if you start adding more to that, these games are going to be fucking unwatchable.
Or there were people last year already saying that this season's taking forever.
Mm-hmm.
And now, granted, with this 24 or 28, you do away with the conference title game. So essentially, there's 2 weeks that you gain, but you're going to be filling them with 2 weeks of games. So it's going to be the same length. And what do you do if there's two teams tied atop the Big Ten that didn't play each other?
And then also, in my opinion, too, is like you do away with the conference championship game. What's the fucking point of playing these conference games?
There isn't.
There's no point.
Mm-mm.
You know, it's all, the Big Ten's already kind of fucked up because you have the. I know it doesn't work out this way, but over the years, the two best teams in the Big Ten are Michigan and Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
And they have to play against each other every single year because you're not going to get rid of that game.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have other teams in the Big Ten, and now, especially now that they've, we've brought teams like Oregon and USC into it. Like there's seasons where, last year with Penn State didn't have to play against Michigan. They didn't have to play against Ohio. No, they played against Ohio. They didn't have to play against Oregon, but they played against Oregon in the Big Ten championship. They didn't have to play against Michigan. They didn't have to play against USC. They didn't. I mean, they missed so many of they had the perfect schedule.
Oh yeah.
And so, or I mean, I shouldn't have used Penn State as the example. I should have used Indiana.
Yeah,
Indiana is the team that benefited. They reaped the benefits of the Big Ten so big time. I mean, then that's the reason why. That's the only fucking reason why they were in that playoff is because of who they played against. So, that's just, to me, you start getting too big with the postseason playoff. Now you're taking away from the conference championship game. Now, to me, you're taking away from the whole regular season, and you're basically saying that the regular season doesn't matter, and it's just all about who you schedule or who your big non-conference games are that you schedule, and I don't know. I think they did the right thing by going to 12 from 4 because, like I said in the very beginning, you penalized teams for getting beat in their conference championship game, and that should have never happened. Like if you were playing in the conference championship in the Big Ten,
especially since they moved away from the two divisions.
Yes, exactly. Because before that, when it was like Michigan playing against Iowa or Ohio State playing against Wisconsin, like they weren't even on the same. No. Those were just blowouts.
Yeah.
But like I guess more so talking about like SEC championship. Sure. You have Georgia, Alabama. Alabama beats them. How the fuck do you leave Georgia off that? You go back just to 2023 where Michigan wins the national championship. Probably outside of Bama in that game, that Michigan-Bama game, that was, a great game. And then obviously Michigan goes on and kills Washington. Georgia would have been the team that would have been giving Michigan, everything they had. That would have been a tough game for Michigan. Probably would have been very similar to the Alabama game. And so that is where, like, how do you penalize Georgia in that situation? Like, they run the fucking table, they go all the way through. They beat Alabama in the regular season. They lost in the playoff, and now they're just out because they lost the last game.
Yep. So, kind of continuing the SEC talk here, they've said that next year they're moving from 8 conference games to 9. And all of a sudden, SEC folks are just bitching a fit.
Well, that's what every other conference has been doing all this time.
Yeah. The Big Ten has been on the SEC for years. Now, the one thing that the president of the SEC said, all right, yes, but one of your non-conference games has to be a good team from one of the other Power 4 or Notre Dame. So just can't do 3 cupcakes and then 9. And if you think about it, this commissioner is setting his team. Yes, it's going to be a more, everyone's like, oh, this is opening up to, discussion about 3-loss teams into the playoffs and this and that. And it's like, okay, but when you have a team that has a strength of schedule, it's really, really hard, and they have 3 losses.
I'd rather have a 3-loss team from the SEC or the Big Ten than fucking a team like last year's SMU or last year's Boise State. I would. Okay, they run the table, they go undefeated. I don't give a fuck what they're playing against, and the teams that they're beating are not the same as what teams are going through in the Big Ten and teams are going through. And even if you want to use Notre Dame in that argument, at least Notre Dame is playing against teams in the SEC and playing against teams in the Big Ten. Those other teams aren't playing against that.
No.
What was Boise State's best opponent that they played last year was, or their big. Who was it? It was Didn't they play? Oh, they did. They played Oregon. Yeah. They played Oregon, and Oregon beat the shit out of them. That was their only. That was their only loss on the season, and they played it like in week 2. If that game would have been played in week 8, Oregon would have beat the fuck out of them.
Yeah.
That was the time to play against Oregon. Was in the first. That's the time
to
really play against anybody. Is in the first couple of weeks of the season.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, 2Ks. Let's talk about what we saw yesterday and kind of give let's do a handful of picks for the folks here. For week 1. For week 1. I did have yesterday, like I said, kind of a dick tease.
It was. I mean,
they're like, here's some football. You've got to wait till Thursday for more football. It's like, what?
It's so tough. It's so tough to
there were 5 games yesterday.
Yeah.
Can we get 2 of them today?
Yeah.
That would have been awesome.
One of them was like, you think of the first game of the day, and I mean, obviously it's in Dublin, so the time's going to be...
It's raining.
It's going to be different. It's raining. It's shitty weather. But then, like, they had the best game first, and then the rest of the games were just like, eh.
Yeah, but they...
can go without. Like,
yeah. Hawaii-Stanford was pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, I would have liked to have, like, another, if you're going to do this week 0
ranked
thing...
Unranked?
Yes.
Yeah.
Have another... You want to do your Dublin game first thing, because of the time difference. They're obviously going to play that game probably around noon, early in the day, like they did, and but then follow it up with like a 7 o'clock game of ranked opponents that are starting off their season like that.
Gave me lunch.
Yes.
Give me dinner.
Exactly.
And then sprinkle on Stanford and Hawaii as
the 10 o'clock. Yep.
Is a nice little nightcap.
Yep.
Like it. Now, Hawaii, I made some good coin on Hawaii yesterday. And the reason being, as this is from Unbiased EV, one of the Barstool folks, Double Vodka Don. Says Hawaii's win at the buzzer off the foot of a kid from Japan who learned how to kick on YouTube. College football has never been so back. Well, Double Vodka Don, I can tell you that, yes. And tall dude. Tall dude. I mean... When I think Asian kicker, I think like Justin Yoon for Notre Dame.
Yeah.
5'9", 5'8", on the field with giants. So he looks like a very, very tiny person, even though he's normal. This dude was every bit of 6'3", 6'4". So a tall dude. And he last year for 2 years played JUCO. So this isn't like it's his first time in NCAA sports. But yeah. Fucking Stones, dude. Kicks a game winner. Turbo wins 5 units.
There you go.
Life is good.
Yeah.
Life is good.
Sir.
But yeah, we had a great one leading off. This Kansas State was supposed to, according to pretty much every sports book, was gonna win their conference, and it takes a big L right out the gate. And Iowa State's supposed to be the next team in that Big 12 mix. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Big 12 shakes out if Iowa State can continue this. But 2Ks, let's look ahead here. Let's see, Thursday, not a whole lot of going on. Friday, Central Michigan at San Jose State. That'll be a barn burner. Tickets for as low as $24, 2Ks. Well, I want to save the Texas-Ohio State one to last. So let's... Bama, Florida State. There's no way you're taking Florida State, right?
No.
Bama's only 13.5 points. Georgia is...
Bama on the points. There.
Georgia's a mere 39.5 over Marshall. Penn State, 44 over Nevada. Let's see. If I was a good host, I would already have these lined up for you. LSU at Clemson.
That should be a damn good game. I think really highly.
Clemson's 4-point favorite
this year. I think Clemson's defense is going to be they're going to be real good.
Well,
real good, and they have potential. Probably the favorite to win the Heisman, and Klubnik as their quarterback.
We've got 2 Heisman candidates here in this game, and Clemson right now, August 24th, 4-point favorite. This is, you got Nussmeier against Klubnik. The only thing that, it's 4v9, and Clemson just has so many dudes back.
Mm-hmm.
And this Clemson team finished the year pretty damn strong.
Mm-hmm.
And Dabo actually went out and got some dudes in the transfer portal. And from what everyone's telling me, we could see a whole first round filled with Clemson Tigers next year. So to be ranked 4th,
I think this is the year where
Dabo's back.
Dabo gets back into the, it's obviously not the playoff of 4 anymore, but I think Clemson punches their ticket to the Final Four this year. I think they win the ACC and get the automatic bid in, and then they also punch their ticket into the Final Four of this, and we'll kind of see where the season goes on. Now at LSU, they should be good. I mean, obviously with Nussmeier as their quarterback, but until Brian Kelly wins a big game,
bingo.
I
was hoping you'd bring it up so it didn't look like I was a BK hater. So
until he wins a fucking big game on a primetime slot, like I'm taking Clemson in this.
Come on, Durant, swing the fucking bat, dude.
What is the what's it on this? Clemson by -4?
4. Yep, 4 points. Yeah, that's. To me, it does not matter who's LSU quarterback. I need to see a Brian Kelly team win a big game.
Mm-hmm.
Now, would it set the tone for the rest of the season if LSU can go into Clemson and win this game? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. It's not like this LSU team are bums. They're ranked number 9, for Christ's sake.
Yep.
It's just BK's got to do it.
Yep.
And you talk about a hot seat 2Ks. 2 years ago, Heisman Trophy winner.
Yeah.
The team didn't do shit.
Yep.
So yeah, this team's got to get rolling. This team's got to get rolling. Let's see here. Let's go to Sunday 2Ks. Got two no, just one. Notre Dame goes to Miami. Number 6 versus number 10. Notre Dame favored by 2.5, and we have CJ Carr at the helm. 2Ks. This is from Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Breaking: Marcus Freeman has named CJ Carr Notre Dame's starting quarterback over Kenny Minchie. Let's ride 13.
This is only one. Like, I think come the end of the season, I think Notre Dame's going to be the obvious better team here between them and Miami. The only reason why I say look out is because of the quarterback situation in this game. There's no knock on CJ Carr. It's that he's never played. That's, going into this and now playing in it's big time now.
Yeah.
And then you look over on Miami, they get the transfer from Georgia, who's played in a lot of football games.
Yeah.
And that's where early season games, I just when you have an early season, where you're playing ranked opponents, a lot of times the quarterback is the deal in this one. And look, Carr could go out there and light it up. I don't think this Miami defense is going to be anything to write home about.
No.
I don't think
There's
they're
no
going to be
turnover chain.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be anything great. So I think that Notre Dame will be able to move the ball. Obviously, probably have the best running back in all college football, so that fucking helps. You have a great offensive
arguably the
line.
best running back room.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, you have receivers,
best offensive line.
Receivers that really, started to make some plays last year, and the whole talk about it. And I said multiple times last season, well, their receivers got to make plays. Well, when it came to the playoff last year, their receivers started making plays.
Greathouse
came out great in 2 consecutive games in the playoffs there. So, that obviously helps. And I think CJ Carr starting in this game, he's already a better thrower of the football than what Riley Leonard was last year.
I don't know. Did you see Riley Leonard in the preseason, dude?
He was a runner.
Yeah.
That's what that was Notre Dame's bread and butter last year, was they're going to run the football. Obviously, with the running backs that they had, and with having you had another running back as your quarterback.
Oh, 100%.
So it's going to be a whole different style, I think, of Notre Dame offense. But that's the only thing that kind of scares me is you have a quarterback on the other side in Miami, where I think Notre Dame is the better football team. I think Notre Dame should win this game, but Miami's quarterback's played a lot of football games, and he's played a lot of big college football games. So
the only thing that I'm going to say is, yes, receiving core much improved. Two transfers, that going into this, look, if Greathouse wouldn't have had the end of the season, they would kind of pencil both those guys in 1 and 2. And now Plexico Burris' son looked like a beast. the running backs, like you said, the offensive line. We haven't even talked about the defense, 2Ks.
Yeah.
This defense arguably could be better than last year.
100%. Absolutely.
If CJ Carr throws the ball more than 25 times this game, I will be shocked. Mm-hmm. Now, is Notre Dame going to go hang 30, 35 points?
Probably. Possibly.
Yeah.
I mean, look at last year where Cam Ward was obviously putting up huge numbers for Miami, but they were fucking giving up 38, 40 points every single game that they played. So, it would not shock me if Notre Dame scores well over 30 against them.
But what I'm saying is it's on the ground. Mm-hmm. It's not 100%. It's not big, in getting CJ Carr acclimated, especially in probably one of the biggest venues he's going to play in for the vast majority of the year. He was redshirted last year. Him and Riley Leonard, I almost said Riley Green. Him and Riley Leonard were kind of attached at the hip. Mm-hmm. They're still very good friends. He knows, that's not a bad dude to learn from.
Oh, sure.
So he's set up for success. The offensive coordinator isn't a dummy. Mm-hmm. The only thing that there are a lot of Irish faithful wanted Kenny Minchie because he was more the runner, like Leonard was. Mm-hmm. This offensive coordinator was the one that Jaden Daniels had in LSU.
Yeah.
So Jaden was an okay runner. He wasn't a run first option.
Well, and I think eventually too, you have to make a decision to go with a quarterback that's going to throw the football and everything, because you got to look at the big picture also of, you can't just continue to have teams that have a mobile quarterback and you run the ball, and then expect that you're going to be able to pull recruits that have wide receivers or keep receivers that you already have in the room. You have to be willing to, I think that's kind of what Michigan's going through also, where, they bring in, now all of a sudden they bring in Bryce Underwood. Hopefully we're going to see him throw the ball around a lot more than what we've seen. Even when they had McCarthy, that wasn't like they threw. That was always the knock on McCarthy, was he never threw the ball. Mm-hmm. He didn't have to.
No.
And there's going to be a lot of situations and a lot of games where Notre Dame plays this year where they're not going to have to throw the ball, that much. But when you get to the postseason, they're going to have to throw the ball, and that's where I think you go with a guy in Carr who can use his feet a little bit better than what people expect of him.
Breaking news, 2Ks. Breaking news. Speaking of Michigan, this just in: freshman Bryce Underwood is expected to be named Michigan's starting quarterback.
I expected it. I expected it.
I would have been blown away whether it was him not just being ready, or if there was someone on that staff that I had no idea was there that just blew everyone away.
They had last year's quarterback situation there was just fucking brutal. I mean, just brutal. They went and beat Ohio State and didn't even have a quarterback on the roster, to be perfectly honest with you. And then they beat Alabama and didn't have a quarterback on their roster still. Mm-hmm. They had Bryce Underwood there in street clothes because he had signed, but he couldn't play.
Probably wanted him to.
And I don't want to jump the gun big time, but I think Michigan's going to be pretty fucking good. I think their schedule lines up better for them this year than what it did obviously last year. That defense is legit. I mean, that defense it's going to be the same defense that you saw against Ohio State and the same defense that you saw against Alabama, because the guys that were drafted didn't play in those games. Yeah. So you have all those kids coming back. If Underwood can throw the ball, if he can just make some throws, which I think he's definitely going to be able to do.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to go out there and be a world beater. He doesn't have to do it. They're still going to lean on their defense the same way that they did in 23 when they won. When they won it all, they leaned on their defense.
And even last year, I mean, it's the same scheme,
Mm-hmm.
And if you remember, there was a lot, and I think that's what a lot of people aren't realizing is the cupboard's not bare. Even though that Michigan team sent a lot of defensive players into the NFL last year,
100%.
It's kind of something that it's a retool. It's not a rebuild. Mm-hmm. Alabama did it for years. Mm-hmm. 2Ks, Monday Night Football. Bill Belichick, different kind of Monday Night Football. TCU's coming into North Carolina, both teams unranked, and this game intrigues the absolute fuck out of me because no one knows what this North Carolina team is going to look like.
Yeah.
Bill has not told anyone, and that shouldn't shock anyone that's been in any sort of sports for the past 25 years. I can't wait. This might end up being the most boring fucking game
It could be
of all weekend. But you know what? And TCU's favored by 3 going into North Carolina. No one knows who his quarterback is. So yeah, it's very up in the air. I'm definitely intrigued.
Oh, 100%. Absolutely. I mean, we're talking the best football coach of
all time.
I mean, definitely of our time. Look, I think this Carolina team they're going to be a team that will get better throughout the season. I don't expect to watch them in the beginning and be like, "Oh, this is a playoff caliber team." They're probably not going to be a playoff caliber team this year.
No.
But
does Bill expect them to?
No. But they're going to continue to get better and continue to get better. And if that's the case, if they start winning some ball games, he's going to start signing some guys because he obviously knows what it takes to get these guys to the next level. Yeah. So that's going to bring in some
and he's got
time recruits. So.
He's got a Lombardi as his general manager. So
they will be more relevant. They will be more relevant in the next 2 to 3 years than what Deion's Colorado teams will be.
I could not. And you see, Shiloh got booted.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that he went undrafted. I thought the Bucks drafted him. 2Ks, biggest game of the weekend. Texas goes to Ohio State. Not only 1 versus 3, but the final game day for Lee Corso. And if you didn't watch that little, can you call it a doc? I don't, just the show on ESPN that they aired at 9:00 on Friday. It's one of those, I'm not crying, you're crying.
Yeah.
It was phenomenal. Absolutely. Phenomenal. We've got Arch Manning. First really big start. Not his first start. First really big start. Heisman front runner. There's a lot of people on Twitter that are saying Ohio State 1.5.
I just don't see it. I don't see that.
Like they're saying this Texas team is gonna boat race this Ohio State team.
I think Texas is gonna beat them, and I think Texas is gonna beat them bad. To me, this Ohio State team reminds me a lot of obviously the quarterback situation will not be what Michigan had, but they remind me a lot of Michigan's last year. You lose so much to the pros. So many guys leave. Listen, I understand you have the best college player in the nation at wide receiver.
1 and 2.
You probably have the number 2 player on the defense side of the ball, and Caleb Downs.
But no one else.
You've lost. I mean, your offensive line is depleted. Texas's defensive line is probably the best in the country. You know, your Ohio State flip flop it to the other side of the ball. Your defensive line is you lost so many guys on that defensive line. Well, Texas's offensive line is probably one of the best in the nation. You have Arch Manning, arguably, maybe. I mean, we haven't seen a whole lot of it, a whole lot of him. I thought we should have saw a lot more of him last year.
Yeah.
So I think Texas is going to be a better team than what they were last year. I think when it's all said and done, I think Arch is your Heisman Trophy winner this year, and I think this is probably, if I'm making my pick right now, I'm saying Texas wins it all this year. I think that this Texas team wins it all, and I think it starts with this game right here. I think they blow the fucking doors off of Ohio State in Ohio State's own stadium.
And Archie Manning has come out and said that, Arch is coming back next year. So none of this, suck for Arch, which if it's the Saints are going to be just as bad next year.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, that like I said,
it shocked me when I saw that. I couldn't believe it. I thought for sure. I mean, I guess I know that they're coming off of they won the national championship last year, and they are the home team. They're playing this in the shoe, but
1.5.
Man, they lost a lot, and they have a quarterback that has not played. So
no, I'm with you. I'm smashing the money line on Texas. Smashing the money line. Over under set at 47.5. I'm taking the over on that as well.
I would take the over on that also. But I would be afraid to take it. What has me a little bit afraid of taking the over on it is,
2 good defenses.
Well, how many points can Ohio State score on them?
Oh,
Jeremiah Smith is the best player in college football. Texas fucking figured something out on him because Jeremiah Smith caught what, one pass for like 4 yards in the playoff last year against him.
Yep.
Like,
and Notre Dame kept him corralled for the most part, except for the second to last play of the game.
Yep.
But yeah, and again, Notre Dame secondary, very good. They were different than any other defense that he went against because they played him man to man 98% of the game.
Yep.
And so yeah,
and they still have Carnell Tate. So, but you know the loss of Mbakwa or whatever his name is. Sorry if I'm botching his name, but he was a legitimate number one receiver. Also, Jeremiah Smith was just so good that you know he kind of turned into the number two, but probably would have been number one receiver on about every other team in college football. So him not being there. Obviously, both running backs from last year gone. Quarterback from last year gone. Offensive linemen, multiple offensive linemen gone.
Who is their quarterback?
The kid, the transfer that they got from Bama. It was one of Saban's kids, but you know, hasn't played a game yet. Has not played a college game. So this playing your first game against this Texas team. He does have one thing going for him. At least he's in front of his home crowd. But at the same time, that could not be a good thing either. If you're not able to move the ball in the first quarter against them, that might not be a good thing either. So I just don't see this where Ohio State wins this game. I think Ohio State's going to be really good. I think Ohio State's going to be in the playoff. I think they're going to get better as the season goes on. I think they're potentially, probably, legitimately should win the Big Ten again. I know everybody fucking is nutting all over themselves for Penn State, but I don't fucking see that shit. That James Franklin hasn't done a damn thing in Penn State ever. So punched his ticket to the playoff last year and fucking blew it there.
Drew Aller has been built up for how many years and is
not that good.
And there was so many Penn State fans coming at me after the Notre Dame win. It's like, dude, your receivers didn't catch a ball.
Right. Your quarterback fucking turned it over in the biggest situations and basically handed that game back to Notre Dame.
He threw 3 interceptions, 2 of which were called on PIs, which one of them was not.
No.
So it could have been a whole different ball game. And even, he looks the part. Let's put it that way. 100%. And this is his put up or shut up season because, like you mentioned, there are a lot of folks very high on Penn State. Well, and to me, it shouldn't be on his shoulders. It's on Franklin's shoulders because he hasn't won anything like Brian Kelly.
And so much of the story this offseason has been, you know, obviously them stealing Knowles, the defensive coordinator from Ohio State, and bringing him there. And then another reason why I don't have, you know, much faith for Ohio State going in this is their new defensive coordinator is Matt Patricia. So, you know, I just don't have a whole lot of faith in him.
Which, for those of you keeping track, was last seen on the New England sideline being the offensive coordinator for Bill Belichick. Yeah. Now, granted, was a great defensive coach for Bill Belichick prior to his brief Lions tenure.
But how much defensive coaching are you really doing when the head coach is Bill Belichick?
Well, his son was that for a minute, even though he was chewing on his face the most of the time.
Right, exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, he's supposed to be this football guru, and it seems like, you know, he keeps on getting a job, but nobody really is interested in keeping him for very long. So,
and if you're looking to go to that game, 2K's tickets as low as $367.
Right, that's a deal. Yeah. Oh yeah.
$367. Now, Friday. Almost forgot this one, 2K's Georgia Tech at Colorado. Tickets as low as $111, even though Georgia Tech is favored by 4 points. Western goes to Michigan State. That's kind of an early MAC.
I was just looking at the line on that one. I'm taking Western to cover on that.
Yeah. Give me the points.
Yeah.
Give me the points. Well, 2K's, is there anything else we need to...
No, I'm just so I'm so glad that football is upon us. Like this, you know, this dick tease that we had this past weekend where we get to watch, you know, 4 or 5 football games. Really, only one of them was, you know, one that truly wanted to watch. Yeah. And then these, you know, 3 weeks of fucking NFL preseason games that are so meaningless. You know, I hate watching preseason football. And it's like finally it's all coming, it's all gonna start. So yeah.
You want to know the one, you know, I'm glad you brought up the preseason in the NFL. I'm excited about this. What was his name? Tesla.
Yeah,
Look,
he
that
looks
kid's
pretty
awesome.
damn good. He looks pretty good. It's almost, I don't want to say anything too much now about it because I want to see it in the regular season. When it actually matters. But it might be another one of those where Brad Holmes did it again. Like, it
Yeah.
just pulls this kid out, trades up for him. I think they ended up getting him in the third round of the draft.
We need to get this kid a nickname pronto.
Yeah. Oh,
because this
100%.
whole Tesla
Yeah.
can't do it.
Yeah.
Can't do it. Can't do it. Michigan's at home against who the fuck was it?
New Mexico.
New Mexico. Favored by like 37.5. That seems a little high.
It seems
37.
really, really high.
It's on the cock.
It seems really, really high, especially after last year. I mean, obviously, I don't know. I have a lot of faith in Michigan's defense. I don't think they're going to give up very many points, but it's going to be how well new offensive coordinator, new offensive scheme, new quarterback. A lot of new there. Offensive line is basically all returned. Running backs are going to be new faces. One of them being the transfer from Alabama, and so and then wide receivers are it's kind of a crapshoot on that too. So I don't really know a whole lot about what we're going to see offensively. I just know that I have a lot of faith that Bryce Underwood's going to be a lot better quarterback option than anything that Michigan had last year. So
yeah. Well, here's hoping because if
I could throw the fucking football better than any
if he's
options
that bad,
oh,
Dave Portnoy is going to be irate. Irate, which might be sad for you guys, but that'll be amazing content.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing content. Well, 2K crew, we'll get you out of here on that. We will see you next time. And as always, Jim Rome, we're coming for you.